Alright, you big dumb sockless idiot. Come on, you're just gonna come on, stop spamming. Yeah, you like that 2 damage? You see these moves? Oh shit. See this intimidation? If you're anything like the average player who picks up a Soulsborne game for the first time, you've probably wondered, what in the actual duck is the point of choosing the Wretch class? This guy sucks. He doesn't even have any socks. What a loser. But you've probably also thought that there has to be another reason why this class exists. I mean, obviously it's harder to fight gods and weirdos with a stick and a bikini, but is that it? The answer, my friend, is no. The biggest advantage to starting off as a Wretch in Elden Ring isn't realized until much later in the game. The biggest advantage is min-maxing, which put simply is just fully optimizing a build in the game. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it really doesn't matter. I can't tell you how many times I've set out to create a specific build in a Souls game and ended up with something entirely different from my starting idea. Plus, min-maxing doesn't guarantee you anything. You can just make strong builds around strong weapons and still win in PvP. But personally, I like starting these games with a bit more of a challenge to them. Making things harder in the beginning for me doesn't really kill the enjoyment or rate of progression anymore. And for those of you who respec their builds several times in each playthrough like me, there is another benefit to being a sockless weirdo. And that is, when you respec, all your stats will go down to 10, so you won't have a randomly high dex stat for your strength build because you started off as a samurai, or something else that's a lot cooler than a naked person. So, this is what I would do for any Wretch build in the first hour or so. Also, before we get started, I made a similar video to this one about Dark Souls 3, so check that out. Also, if you don't leave a like on this video, you're legally considered a jerk. I don't make the rules, man, but I would do it before your mom finds out. Okay, the very first thing you need to put any thought into is what keepsake to choose. Now, it's really up to you what you want, but my focus when I start a Wretch build is always getting my base stats, vigor, and endurance to a playable level. So I generally start off with the lands between rune, but if you want, you can also go the golden seed, because that's always a good pick. Now we need to fix our squishiness. Thankfully, these enemies drop all their gear, including their socks. Seriously though, the drop rates here are seriously high. This is actually the first time I killed both of these enemies, and they both drop exactly what I needed immediately. Not the knives. Give me the, yeah, yeah, that's what I needed. Yeah. Now you could spend some time terrorizing all the people around here for a couple of more runes, but it really doesn't make a huge difference here considering you can't level up and there's still a chance you may die. But regardless, the next step is grab ourselves our first map fragment and of course upgrade our stick. We're not actually using any upgrade material though. I'm just gonna go grab a big boy sword. Oh, he spotted me. Looks like we have an awareness Andy over here. Hiya, hiya, hiya. Yeah, that's how we do it. So I'm doing a strength build. So this weapon works really good for me, but it also works really good for anyone else. You just use it until you find the weapon that you want. And once we finally touch grass here, we can level up for the very first time. Before that, make sure to crack your rune if that was the starting keepsake that you chose. Now, because of the next couple of steps we're going to take to make our character's survivability much better, it doesn't really matter where you put these levels, but obviously keep them in the vigor, endurance, and preferably the category of your weapon choice, like strength or dexterity, or intelligence if you're doing a casting build. The next step is... Okay, look, I forgot to hit record before I picked up the weapon, but you know what this is by now, right? The Morning Star? Do you not watch Vati Vidya? Okay, fine. This is where it's located on the map, just in case. See? Now you know. Let's equip the Morning Star, and, starting from the gate front, go all the way to here. Now, if you use the Morning Star and apply the proper techniques, this should be about a 2-second fight. This duck doesn't have any defense whatsoever. If you sneak up right, you got this. It's all you, baby. Check out this technique. And just like that, the 2-second technique. 74,000 runes. And a couple of dragon hearts. Now you have some options here. If you want, you can level up the stats necessary to use the weapon that you want to use. But what really makes starting as a Wretch difficult is getting one shot by anything and not having enough stamina to cast your spells or swing your weapons. So for the sake of the video and the sanity of the players who start as a Wretch, I'm going to advise you to spend these runes on only vigor and stamina. To beef up our survivability, we need nuggets and eyeglasses. That's code for golden seeds and map fragments. Of course, you would know that already if you were subscribed. This first golden seed, of course, is located here on Storm Hill. And this wonderful pair of eyeglasses can be found, of course, right here, which is conveniently located right here, which is where our next golden seed is. Now all we have to do is level everything up. Golden seed 1. A golden seed 2. And of course we can't forget the— oh crap. I somehow managed to forget the fine wine of Elden Ring, located right here on the map.
Yes.
It's a good thing it's actually impossible to forget, because this sacred tear sits right next to the flask of wondrous physique? I don't know. Which we obviously need to get. Now, it's very important that you don't forget to actually upgrade the flask, and that you don't forget to actually mix the flask. Like this. Like it, don't just equip it. You need to mix it. Okay, got it? Good. And seriously, if you don't have the Flask of Wondrous Physic, and you don't have socks, Elden Ring is impassable to beat. Don't even attempt it. You psychopath. Now, I don't know about you, but I sure as hell didn't plan this far ahead for the video. I have no idea what weapon I want to use for this playthrough. All I know is that I was feeling strength. For those of you who are in the same raft as me, don't upgrade whatever weapon it is you're using right now. You may need the upgrade material type for the weapon you choose later. If you do know the weapon you want to use, and you know what upgrade material it takes to level it up, then by all means, use the material you've gathered. If you really don't mind grinding for drops and or waiting until you get the proper bell bearings so you can buy the upgrade materials, then just disregard what I said. I hate that kind of stuff though. I'd much rather just hoard material. And after you've made your final decision, we can move on to the last hurdle of starting as a Wretch. Now, I don't have all the time in the world to be losing to fucking Market. So to make this part easier on myself, I just summoned the guy. And honestly, you should too. You've barely learned how to wear those socks, and at this point, you need a win. I mean, let's face it, you're kind of a loser. Alright, first try. I'm the best. Now, okay, look, if you were to open up your character page and look around, you would notice that I left out a whole section of our character. There are way too many talismans to be naming off the right ones you should be using. Talismans should all complement the way you play the game, so it will widely differ between people and playstyle. To leave you with an example, rather than nothing at all, though, when I play, I use a lot of jumping attacks, so I'll be picking up the Claw Talisman. And since I'm a strength build, I can't deal a whole lot of damage at range, so I need to make sure I can tank a few hits. So I'll raise my defense up, but I'll also pick up the Spelldrake Talisman as soon as possible. There really are too many variables for anyone to tell you exactly what talismans to use, so don't sweat it if you haven't planned that out yet. And now you have a solid base of survival stats and beat the first boss. That's great. From here, I would focus mainly on getting the right talismans for your build and upgrading your weapon or the proper stat to give you more damage. Other than that, it's really just playing the game however you want from here on. Now you actually get to just play the game. And if you have interest in Dark Souls 3 at all, I highly recommend checking out my do this in your first 30 minutes every time Dark Souls 3 video. It was great. It was a lot of fun to put together. It's done extremely well on my channel already, or go check out all my other Elden Ring content. There's gonna be more in the future. There's already a lot there. So yeah, thanks everyone. Bye!